Welcome everybody to this week's Cup with Gup Movers and Shakers for the PGA event, the WGC Workday at the Concession. Um, Beautiful Wednesday morning here in Norman, Oklahoma. Didn't get this done last week because of the power outages and whatnot with the winter storm that came through, so was limited on time to get things ready for E9 and such for our premium members. But the goal and objective every week is going to be doing this on Wednesday morning. Let you guys, if you're not premium members, or you are, either way, kind of get my updated thoughts. Of course, come in tonight with Kenny Kim in our premium E9 chat, where we deep dive into everything and kind of bounce things off each other, see where we're at for the week. Different week this week with new course, trying to pick up as much as we can. The shocking news yesterday of the accident with Tiger, which I'll have a few comments on that at the end, but kind of, I think for most of us, derailed us a little bit. I was, for a while, everybody was kind of definitely wondering, is he even going to survive? Just seeing the footage and the images of the car, thankfully, looks like he is obviously going to survive, but definitely have a path back to recovery, if for nothing else, to be there for his kids and whatnot, which is the most important thing at this time. Listening to a lot of the guys and then trying to pick up on press conferences, after the Tiger deal or as that was breaking, it kind of derailed a little bit of the pressers, and some of them were inappropriate at the time. Like, I get it. You got to do your job. Probably could have said, let's wait an hour or two, let things settle, figure out what's going on before you bring guys like JT, who literally just found out 10 minutes ago on and whatnot. But from what we could gather and then just more deep diving, I looked at the flyovers Sunday night into Monday, looked at them some more. It doesn't appear, weather-wise, anything's really changed for me. Could get some up to 15, 20 mile an hour on the weekend, which will probably make it play. I mean, by all accounts, will make it play a little bit tougher. Thursday and Friday look great. I think it'll be, prime scoring conditions. Guys probably need to take advantage of that. At least with the wind being there on the weekend, they've had some practice rounds and 2 tournament rounds to get even more familiar with the course. So I'm not letting it factor me that much at all. It's in the back of my head as far as who can close and if it does pick up a little bit, but that's it. There's no rain, anything like that, no delays. We're not talking about winds like last week. It just could make the course and some shots probably play harder. That's anecdotal, just based on what we've read and seen and heard. We don't actually know until we get this first time under us. But no big changes to the way I'm going at it based on weather. As always, as you can, this is going to be a quick 10-15 minute video. Subscribe and like to the video, even if you're listening to the audio version. Run over there, subscribe to us if you haven't. Like the videos for us. In the comments, leave me your favorite fade in the 9K range. Later, I'll do a little giveaway on Twitter. I'll look at all the guys that commented Monday on the Smash Factor. You can still go do that if you haven't, or commented today. I'll pull 2 or 3 winners and do some giveaways on that tonight. So be looking for that on Twitter. I'll use your name or whatever you put in the comments, as a way to if I can tag you. If not, just pay attention. I always post it on my Twitter at @gup_GC. Rate and review us on iTunes as always. Those will be big as we get closer to the Masters. We are doing our March to the Masters promo now. 30% off any package. We're doing over $1,500, almost $2,000 in giveaways. Brand new Talus driver, custom made Vokey wedges that you get to make them however you want. Tons of master gear and GC gear as well. 3 big winners in that of all new signups or upgraded members to the site. You can check out the @Gups Corner Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff for the image with all the details on that, if you want to check us out for that. Updated thoughts on the week for me. I still feel good that guys need to be solid driving but accurate at the same time. So our good drive, great drive stats in the brings in X percentage of how good that player is driving over the field, but keeping it accurate as well, kind of a blend there, which I brought into the original model and continued looking at some of that in the deep dive stuff. You know, iron play is always crucial, but it does sound like that's going to be even more, especially if you're not as long. You can still compete, I think, if you have good iron play, coupled with, for all these guys, I think around the green and just listening and picking up a little bit of stuff so far, being able to know where to miss, just the undulations on the green and all that. I think you can be on the green and have a difficult putt, which is, that's kind of the comparisons they've said to Augusta. And then lastly, I brought in the Bermuda putting splits, not the end all be all for me. But I definitely wanted to see who some of the guys that pop as far as we moving off the West Coast. Brooks is one, that comes to mind. Sungjae has a great Bermuda putter that, a little bump to those. I don't want to ignore it, but again, because it sounds like these greens are going to be difficult in itself. Even good Bermuda putters may struggle, but guys that are more comfortable on that, I want to at least acknowledge that when I'm kind of getting to my final pool. As usual for this Wednesday that we're doing, I'm going to give you a few guys that have moved up, moved down, some sleeper under the radar, a leverage play based on guys that, a super, a few weeks ago, I think Ricky was one, Jordan's been one, just guys that if everything clicks to their ceiling, they're way too low owned, albeit the reason why they're on low owned is either horrible course history, but more than not, it's probably recent form. I'm going to give you my final 5 one and done pool players for 2 of my lineups. I always keep the third one. Give me the right to pick anybody even outside of those 5. Although 2 weeks ago when I did this, all 3 of mine came from that range. And then we'll get out of here. Just a quick update for you guys that aren't premium members. If you want to join, now's the time. New site will drop Sunday night into Monday. You don't want to miss it. I'm excited for everybody to kind of see it. And then not only that, between that and the first 6 weeks we go live in it, the things we're able to add to it as the environment is up and running in full go. And we make sure all the transition stuff goes best and, goes comfortable for you guys as subs first. And then we'll start adding and upgrading with some of the things we already have in the pipeline there. Moving up for me, first one's Reed. I liked him Monday, but he's definitely moved up the board even more. I'm about to finalize my final thoughts and post it after this video. And, ownership, I think, is going to play a different angle this week. And I don't think it's going to be, I don't want to say as significant because there's always leverage and spots to be in. But I think in this kind of event, it definitely matters more of your complete construction and how you get to the guys you want, because you're going to be splitting hairs on so many different levels. There are clear leverage plays here you can get to. I just don't know if this is the week you want to get to a leverage play just 100% on the what if, especially in a 1 to 3 max type of build. MMEs, you want to try to get as unique and different as you can. If you're building 20, 50, 75, or 150 lineups, different story there in such a small field. But I like Reed this week. I like his around the green game. He won at Farmers last time he was on PGA. He won this last year at the WGC. He's just a big tournament play for me. I like him, at majors. I like him here. I think when the field's stronger, that fires him up even more. So Reed's moved up for me in my rankings, in my pool and total. Sungjae, he was a bubble boy Monday. I like him. 8,800, great on the Bermuda splits. This is his best surface. He's, in some of the stats you look at and all that. But remember, he went through a little lull after the comeback that I think could be coming in, depending on how far you're going back in rounds. And, he got a 32nd at the Farmers, a 17th at Waste. He finally takes a break, and now he comes back to place. He won at the Honda last year. So not comparing the Honda to here 100% by any means, but being a jack course and staying out of trouble and stuff like that, what he tends to do. Played great at Augusta. Around the green was tremendous, especially Sunday at Augusta. I like Sungjae this week. He's moved up my board. Hovland, last one that's moved up. All these guys are going to be very close in ownership, I think. Finau, Reed, Berger, Hovland, Morikawa, Webb, all probably within 4 to 6% of each other. And that's a big bunch of guys right there I just listed. So, that Brooks, Hatton, they're all, that range is just soaking ownership, which is actually drawing from the top range, in my opinion. I think, and I got it written up in the final thoughts for the premium members. The way that total range is coming together is something a little different than we've seen in the past. But I like Hovland. I think some people, if you look at stats, there's some you really kind of like cringe about, but some look great. He's coming off the 5th. He had a 2nd at the Farmers. In between there, his putting's never going to stick out, but if he can ball strike and be off the tee and in great positions more times than not, he's 6th in the field for me in opportunities inside 12 feet. He always has the upside to score and especially outscore his position. I really like him this week. He's going to be up there in my pool, as a guy that's moved up and potentially, but tends to go, I don't want to say overlook because he's definitely going to get used, but maybe a little bit of a leverage player, a little bit different to play, because I think the guys like, Berger and Hatton, who's popular, are all going to be in play there. So out of those, maybe Hovland's a little less owned. Who knows how that shakes out. It's going to be irrelevant, I think, the percentage between all those. So I'm kind of going with, a guy I think that can get it done, and all the projections could be in the world, potentially could slide in a little less than even what some or others project him to be ownership wise. So I like Hovland. Moving down for me, Morikawa. It doesn't sound like people are going to move off of him last week. I think most are just going to rely on, hope he finds a putter because his ball striking's amazing, which I don't disagree with that. $9,000 doesn't seem comfortable at all. He's 40th in the field in Bermuda putting for me. Remember, this is a small field. I'm just going to take the chance that he doesn't. If he finds it and he gets hot, that's fine. You can't play them all, right? So he's moved down the field, potential complete fade material. And then Answer. I like Answer. Obviously, Boomer Sooner was down in San Antonio when I was down there, lives in the area. He's popping up a lot in ownership level for me. I think him and Lanto are going to be highly owned in that range. I don't want to play both, and if I had to pick one, I'd slightly go Lanto, but I'm not opposed to maybe fading both and just trying to be way different in construction and hope maybe those guys just do average at best. I don't like Answer's history around the green and stuff like that. He really, birdie or better, he's 48th. Around the green, he's 53rd. So there's things I don't like about him. If he's going to come in as a kind of a popular guy, and I get it, the price drop for him seems big. We're paying $8,000-9,000 in some spots here in these since the new year and late in the fall swing. So I'm gonna be off Answer. Move down my board for me since Monday. Quickly on the sleeper under the radar, 2 Cantor. I really like what I saw there in the deep dive Euro. I think he's coming in some pretty good form. I think he'll be a little less talked about and owned than, maybe McIntyre, Højgaard, Bazidin, those kind of guys. So I like Cantor. Wolf, a guy like Monday, is still there. Mentioned a few times here and there, but I think most, especially if you do 1 to 3 max, I think he'll get massive leverage. He'll probably get tossed in some MME builds, but I'm not too worried about that. I think he'll be sub 5%. I still like Wolf. Leverage play of the week is one that, I'd only play for leverage. I'm not, extremely too high on him, is Matsu. And it's the form, but I think he's really could come in 3 to 4% this week, which is crazy to think about. Putting's putting. He's not good at putting in general. So 4.85% is kind of where I have him right now. He could be even lower. 8,400 is the key, though. We're not paying 99 for him to hope he breaks through. And now he can, maybe he gets a hot streak, couple hot rounds, and could pay out. It's strictly a leverage play. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get there yet, but if there's one guy on the board that kind of sticks out as, that seems funny, Fowler, Spieth in the last month, it's Matsu for me. Would not play him in 1 to 3 right now, but definitely large MME builds. I would look at him as a potential. He's 10th in the field and around the green, so that, that's a positive. And we know maybe he just gets it, clicks. If he clicks, he at his peak, he's one of the better ball strikers in the field. So he's a guy that would be a leverage play for me. 1 and done, final 5 pool. I have it narrowed down to DJ, Brooks, Reed, Cantley, and Rahm. I will pick 2 of those 5 for my main 2, or for 2 of my 3 one and done pools I have, and then the last one potentially could come from those 5, or I may go a little off the board, but I definitely want to keep a little to the there. But I wanted to give you guys my final 5 for the week. Big boy pot this week. Big money up there. No reason to get cute, but last week you would have said, I said Oklahoma. But if you want to go down there and pick a Neiman, a Scheffler, those guys that can win here that most people may not get to, I don't think it's horrible, but, believe it, you don't want to just be average. You want to get, a top 5, top 10 this week, because that money in the top 5, even if they don't win, is so much bigger than others. And it's a guaranteed week of money, so you don't have the miscut factor. So those are the 5 I like. If you play in some one and dones do both fields, so make sure you check your rules. Some don't, some just do the main. So just make sure you check the rules at whatever pool you're playing in. That's about it for me. I'll be live with Kenny Kim around 5 o'clock, 5:30 Eastern time tonight on our premium member chat. Looking forward to that. I think it's gonna be a fun week. I do think, it was a sombering moment. It was a eye opener to an extent. I don't know. I don't want to say it hit me hard, but it was just kind of like, I think the biggest thing that hit me was my kids, and I've grown so much closer to them, taking the risk I did to go all in on this business, but it allowed me more time with them. And you can see how Tiger has grown. I'm sure he's always was closer to his kids, just like me, but as they grow, you do things that you love, or you get to interact with them on the things that they love. There's no way to describe that feeling. They can be pains for sure, but I wouldn't trade anything in the world for my 2 boys, and the time in the last year that I've spent building this business, but also having more time to be involved in their lives and what's important to them. That's probably where it hit me. Even when Tiger won the Masters, it wasn't the fact of him winning the golf tournament. It was, the fact of his son getting to watch him, his daughter getting to watch him. Obviously, the scene of him hugging his son was like no other. Kids change everything, and that was kind of the eye opener to me. Was like, nothing's given to us, and nothing's guaranteed in this world. And it took a couple hours of reflection on me to make sure, am I doing the right things for my family, my kids? We preach that all the time in the community, that family's first. And that's what was you could go to the grocery store and get in a car wreck, and die. I mean, it could be simple as that. You could be driving, a deer come out. There's all kinds of things that can cause that. And in a second, it could be gone, and that, makes you more appreciative of what you have, but also, makes you want to, for me, give my all for everything I do, because we just don't know when it's going to go away or when it will, be taken away from us. So that was more important to me than I took off Twitter. I don't, all the drama that broke out and some people's tweets that were inappropriate, this and that, here's what it is. Some of these guys, you can see it, what it means to them, like JT and all that. And that definitely, I'm sure we'll talk about that on E9 tonight a little bit. Do we factor that in as he already was done with his grandfather? Do some of these guys just, mentally, I think that he's at least going to have recover. He's going to recover to some extent. He didn't die yesterday. Is the easiest way to put that could have changed mindsets. It's still scary. He's still going to have a long road, but being that he's safe, it's an anecdotal thought, especially when you're talking about building a deal for a game, which is irrelevant to some, right? But do we factor that in all this week? I'll be interested to see what Kenny Kim says. Always love chatting with him, but for me, it was more of, I took probably a couple more hours last night than I even do to play with my 7-year-old. He's big into WWE on PS5 right now, and he loves collecting cards. He's getting into that stuff. He's anxious to go, once we get some warmer weather and things dry up, play some golf. Those things to me are things that I would always kind of put off, or I would, let me get done with this work, let me get done with that, and it really was an eye opener to say, all right, I'm gonna go get this done, because what if tomorrow I'm not here or something happens? You don't want to live in regrets type of deal. So glad it looks positive. He probably still has a big road ahead of him. It sounds like it. Horrific injuries. Not even concerned if he ever plays golf again. If nothing else, it could be 2 or 3 years down the road and he gets fully healthy. He'll always be able to play the Masters. Maybe he does that one more time. Could the week in, week out competitive, it doesn't matter to me. I have enough memories, and I kind of said that after watching him win. The greatest thing to me was having at the time, my 5-year-old in my lap watching Tiger win the 2019 Masters. And then that was enough for me for him to be with me in that moment and watch that. And then watching Tiger with his son, you have all the moments and memories in the world. So I don't care if he ever plays again. I'm glad he's just safe and has a chance at recovery, and hopefully his recovery goes well. Hope you guys have a blessed day. Premium members, we'll see you tonight around 5